Does branding still matter? This is the most important question now because of the many things that's happening. Some puts in a lot of effort to it, and then you have some who don't bother at all. So here we are to sort of get ourselves enlightened around this topic of branding. My dear friends, welcome to the Waran Shanmugam show. I am Waran, and today is the 28th of July 2021. Yet another lovely Wednesday. In our show this evening, we have a brand specialist who will be talking to us and answering some of our burning questions around branding. So let us welcome Julia Theo. Hi there, Julia. How are you doing?
Hi. Good evening, Warren. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'm good.
Thank you.
I'm good.
Very nice. Hope family is good.
Yes, family is well. Lucky enough, everyone is still healthy
All
and safe.
right. Very nice to hear. Very nice to hear. Well, thank you so much for dropping by, Julia. Let me share a little about this show to the viewers out there, Julia, if I may.
Yes.
Here in this show, we feature inspiring individuals, and tonight we have, of course, you, Julia. Yeah? We want to hear what they've gone through, the struggles, the challenges, but yet determined to be different and have the desire to achieve something in life. This is to inspire our viewers, and once that is done, I think we are indeed happy. Remember, you are more than you think, ladies and gentlemen. I am more than I think. So do follow our Facebook page to know more about us and other programs that we have. I am more than I think. Click like, click share. So Julia, let's get started, shall we?
Sure.
All right. Well, you can, if you may, tell us a little bit about yourself. And this is the question that favorites me most because when you speak about childhood, it is very interesting and it really brings you back to that childhood moment, Julia. So, yeah, a little bit of your childhood and also your teenage life. Don't forget that, if you may, Julia.
Yes. I like that. Okay, and you can see the smile on my face because I really love my childhood. Okay, I love my childhood. I love my teenage life. I grew up in a small, beautiful town in Perak called Taiping. I don't know, many of you have heard of it, but it's very beautiful. I'm the youngest and the only girl in the family. I have two older brothers. So they always say that I'm very spoiled, but I don't think so. I am small. However, okay, I do admit that with my paternal late grandfather, with him, I think I am considered spoiled. Okay, this because he gives me a nickname. Okay, the Queen, and each time I still remember when I was young, whenever I do anything wrong, parents being parents, they will punish me. But my grandfather will come to the rescue. So he is my rescue. Unfortunately, he passed away when I was very, very young. So I don't have a lot more memories of him. I have two older brothers, as I've said. So I'm very tomboyish as a childhood. I think when I grew up, life probably to me is a lot simpler. Okay, I don't have so much screen time. We don't have screen time. Every day is just a routine of school. I come back from school. I better finish my homework, and then I chuck my books aside, and it's all playtime. So because I have two brothers, I learned to climb trees. I learned to play, slingshots, elastic. So I do a lot of boyish stuffs when I was young. I'm also very active in school, and I love my school time. So I was part of the Girl Guides. I was one of the prefect as well. And, I'm also very active. I'm an athlete myself, so I visited my school and district. Some of my childhood.
All right. So, yeah, we all had different types of parenting, yeah. And I like what your paternal parents said, yeah. The Queen, yeah. So I shall call you Queen Julia, I'm supposing, yeah. so, yeah, you might have had a different type of parenting. What was your style of parenting, if I may ask? Also, a little bit about your parents, if that's okay with you, Julia.
Okay, sure. Um, I don't grow up in a very wealthy family. Okay, I was not brought up with a silver spoon, but all in all, I think boleh tahan lah. Okay, average family. So both my parents are working parents. Okay, they met in the banking industry. My mom is a clerk. My dad is a bank officer. So throughout my growing up years, they were living apart because two couples can't work together in the same bank. So my dad had always had to be outstation, but my mom was with us and taking care of us. So I think those days, and I was growing up, I still remember, banking industry is not like today. Okay, things were not computerized. My mom worked very hard. There were many, many nights that even after dinner, she had to go back to the bank to work because she had to balance the books. Okay, during school holidays, because my dad is mostly outstation. Okay, some of our school holidays will be spending with my dad. Where he is working. So we are not rich, but my parents are strict. Okay, they do provide very well for three of us. Okay, they make sure that each of us have good education. So I think very much typical with a lot of our generation's parents. It's study hard, get a degree, get a job. Okay, so I grew up in that three steps. Study hard, get a degree, get a job. So that's a bit of my the way how I grew up, and my parents, they were strict, but they are very loving parents.
Okay, that's nice. And then your middle school or your university, a little bit.
Okay, so I went to a local university. Okay, I went to UPM, University Putra, Malaysia. Graduated with a degree in statistics. Okay, now you may ask, wow, statistics,
I was just
marketing.
about to
Okay,
ask you
yeah,
that.
statistics, marketing, very big difference. Yes. Um, as a as very young, okay, and maybe not stereotyping, but being in most Chinese family, maths is by far one of the most important subjects. So I still remember my dad says, anything but maths you have to do well. So math statistic has been ingrained to me since I was very young. So I love that subject. So when I applied for uni, I decided to go for mathematics or statistics. Now, along the way, okay, we had core subjects and we have elective subjects in our university. I realized that I actually enjoy, doing or learning economics, learning marketing, learning management. So that was then, that start to shift a little bit of, where I think I want to be in my career.
Okay, that's nice. Let's look at some comments from the viewers before we move on, shall
Sure.
we? We have got Lim with him who says, "Good evening,
Hi,
everyone."
evening. Evening,
Then
evening.
we have Sri Devanayagi who's saying good evening too. You have got a good fan base here already, Julia.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. Thank you so much.
And we have got Imelda who says, "Hi, Julia." So these are
Thank
all
you.
amazing ladies out there who are listening to what you have got to say. So, ladies and gentlemen who are viewing out there, if you think that this topic is very relevant to you, please share this topic, share this video, Facebook, YouTube, and also LinkedIn to the many friends of yours, because this is a very important topic and I want to go deep into that now. So, Julia, we want to know
Yes.
who you were before you actually became the brand specialist. So, what were you working as in the beginning and other professional experiences? Julia, please.
Okay. So I'm a bit kiasu. Okay. So even right before I graduated, I've already applied for many many jobs. Okay, and soon as I done and dusted my last paper, I still remember. maybe 1 week's break, okay, I started my job as a market research in a independent research agency. Okay, now that was, I think, maybe because of my degree, that was the easiest job for me to, to land myself into. However, I know that, when I was in uni, I want to do marketing. So market research was, pretty much part and parcel of marketing, but it was my stepping stone. Then an opportunity with Unilever came about, okay, and I went for it. So I was only 1.5 years with this market research company, and after that, I joined Unilever. In Unilever, again, it was a natural progression because of my background in market research. They hired me in for what we call a space planning management. Now, space planning management, okay, in this role, what I do is I analyze the retailers scan data. So, retailers like Giant, Carrefour, back then, Aeon or Just Go, okay. I look through their scan data. I will, do analysis. I will tell them, okay, tell the buyers, okay, which products are doing very well, which products are not doing well, which products may need to go because you need to make space for new products coming in. And I also advise them on how to merchandise their products in their shelvings, in the supermarket shelves. So that was what I do when I started with Unilever. And then I had an opportunity to do trade marketing. Okay, so trade marketing or shopper marketing. Okay, this is when I start to work even more closely with my colleagues in the sales department, in the brand or the marketing department, to come up with promotions. Okay, for the customers or for the supermarkets. Okay, so that was what I did. And then, the more I mix with my brand and marketing colleagues, I realized that, hey, I think, there is this field that I want to learn. And then the job in Nestle came about. So when there was an opening in Nestle, I went for it, okay, and I landed my first brand marketing job in Nestle as an executive, and that was back in 2004. So, if you work backwards, you roughly yeah, I got what is my age now, okay? So, I was very lucky. I joined Nestle, and I was, given our biggest brand, the green color one, okay, Milo. So I was a brand executive for Milo, okay, and that is also where my brand career, okay, started. So in Nestle, I was there for close to 12 years, okay, and I had the opportunity to do consumer marketing, okay, and also shopper or trade marketing. Now, there is a difference between a consumer marketing and a shopper or trade marketing. Okay, you may think it's the same, but it's not exactly the same. Okay, one, consumer is the one that makan, okay, or consume. A shopper is the one that buys. So if we take, let's say, example, a milk powder, the one that consumes is your kid. The one that buy is me as a mother. So there is a difference, okay? And because of that differentiation, how we market will also be different. But this is a separate topic, okay, Warren? So maybe one day we can do this topic, okay? It's also very interesting to see the differentiation. But today, I think we will go back to branding. So back to branding, okay, and my career in Nestle. So I've worked with big brands. Okay, I worked with Milo. I have worked with Maggie. I worked with Nescafe, Johnson's Baby, Listerine, Nestle ice cream. I worked with many, many big brands, and it is through working, in these big brands that I realized how important branding is. Okay, now people later, I will elaborate further. People don't buy a product, people buy brands. Okay, and that is very true. Okay, later when I will share a little bit more, you will understand why I say that. So I learned that, to have very successful product, very successful brands, it has to be very meaningful. You need to have the emotional meaning, and of course, your product needs to deliver. Okay, so okay, example, okay, when we talk about handphone, okay, you want to look for handphone, you buy a handphone. What comes to your mind? The brand first or the features?
Brand
Brand.
first.
Yeah, the brand. So you choose an iPhone or you choose a Samsung. Yes, you will still go through. Okay, this one camera. Okay, ada. This one. Okay, got this effect. Okay, got that effect. But ultimately, you still look at the brand. Okay, and that is why brand or branding is very important. People don't buy just a phone. People buy either an iPhone, a Samsung, a Huawei, or whatever. Okay, now that's again, let me give a bit more example to explain. What do you see, Warren? What do you see?
Instant noodle.
Yes, instant noodle. Now, how many will call instant noodle? What will people know this for? Many Malaysians will know
Uh-huh.
Maggie, right or not?
Maggie. Yes, exactly,
Right?
Maggie.
So when you want to eat instant noodle, you will think of Maggie. You go to
Correct.
a mama store, you will order Maggie goreng. Okay. Now, the guy who's frying the noodle could be, using a chintan or a indomie or mee sedap. But no, you will order Maggie goreng because that is what you know as. Okay, let me try another example. Okay, what is this?
Colgate.
You're right, because that's what you know. Okay, but what is this? This product is not Colgate. This is toothpaste.
Toothpaste.
Okay, you
Yeah.
use toothpaste to brush your teeth. Okay,
My
but
goodness.
like you, many Malaysians will say Colgate. I used to
Yeah.
do the same thing. My toothpaste is finished. I said, Mom, Colgate, no more. That's what I used to do. So that is what brand or branding works. And that is very important because if not, what you have is a toothpaste, what you have
Yeah.
is an instant noodle.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. See, that is very interesting, Julia. When you showed the noodles, it was instant noodle. Okay, not so bad. But when you showed the tube, right, the
Yes,
toothpaste, the first thing that came was Colgate. And back in the days, right, I still remember my mom when she asked me to go and buy a toothpaste, she would say, "Warren, go and buy Colgate." And can you see it becomes like a brand? So
yes.
I have got this question. Why are we doing what we are doing? Why are we saying that? Or what has Colgate done to us? What's happening there, Julia?
Okay, so this is a product, this is a brand, and what Colgate has done very, very well is they have told you that when you brush your teeth, you need to use toothpaste. You use one that will give you 24 hours proven cavity. You use one that is so good, and that is why you keep remembering it. To clean your teeth, Colgate.
Gosh. I think they have done a wonderful job, yeah, both
Yes,
Colgate and Maggie. Like when we go to a mama stall, right? It's always Maggie goreng. Now that you're saying, right? I thought Maggie was like a normal word already, but it's actually we are becoming the brand ambassador for Maggie and Colgate. Can you beat that?
correct. So,
Very
what you said, this is why brands or branding is so important.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. I have got some
Mm.
your fan club, I must say, commenting. Let me just send a little bit of those message on screen. I have got Jonathan Gunn saying hi, Julia Theo. I'm
Hi,
hoping that you know.
Jonathan. Thanks for supporting.
All right, there you go. And then John is here also saying hi, Julia.
Hi. Thank you for supporting.
Rajwin is saying hi, Warren and Julia. Well done. Good to hear, Rajwin. Shankari is saying good evening, Warren and Julia. Yeah, and Jonathan got it right. Yeah, he said Maggie.
Yes.
Jason Chong is saying yes, Maggie Goring. Yes, you are right, Jason.
Thank you,
Jonathan
Jason.
Jonathan Gunn is saying yes. Darky is another word, yeah, that we use, yeah.
Yes. And what is
And
Lucky known for? For too many.
Darky, yeah.
Yeah. How do
It's
you
also
what do you associate Ducky with? For me,
uh,
okay, the black guy.
yes, correct. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so it's a different thinking altogether. Yeah. So there's
Yep.
a question here, Julia. Rajun is
Yes.
asking, how does branding shape our personality? Do you want to take that?
Um, Let me explain further, Rajvin.
Okay.
Branding does a lot to shape our personality. I think as I go later on, okay, and I'll show you some example, I will address that question if I have not explained it.
Okay, perfect. And John Sundram is saying your talk and examples are excellent, Julia. And he's also
Thank you.
saying that darky means black guy with white
Yes,
teeth. You are so right.
that's
So
what I remember.
exactly. So Julia, I have a very important question. What
Yes.
does success mean to you, Julia?
Success has, the meaning of success for me has actually evolved. Okay. When I was much younger, I come from, I'm very competitive. So when I was younger, success means more money. When's my next promotion? What's next? What can I, from a brand executive to brand manager and so forth, more money. Okay. So success, when I was much younger, means more money, more wealth. However, today, I think, Warren, if you ask me, maybe age has, got to me. Success is, the value or the perception that I have on success has actually evolved. Okay. Today, success to me means the ability to be happy, okay, and be sufficient, okay, be grateful. I'm a mom. So, if you ask me what would I consider myself as successful will be, seeing my kids grow up healthy, be kind hearted, and also, be successful in their own, able to take care of themselves, be independent. So that to me is success today.
Wow. I mean, that is just beautifully said, yeah, Julia. Yes, of course, age do make a difference in the terminology that we use, yeah. And the title for today is Does Branding Still Matter? On that same line, right?
Mm,
I want to ask you, tell us about branding. Why is it so important, Julia?
okay. So over here, maybe, okay, I will also be able to, answer Rajveer's question. Okay. So let me just show you this, okay? Warren, or
Yeah.
those who are looking at this, what is this? What do
Guys,
you say?
so let's give some time to these people who are watching, the viewers out there. So now Julia is showing something. Can you all guess what is that? Can you all
Okay,
tell
tell
what
me,
is that?
just tell me what is this?
Yeah, there you go. Someone is saying it's a car.
Correct. So this is a car. Now, what is a car? A car is actually a product. Okay, a
Mhm.
car is a vehicle that brings you from point A to point B. Now, let's give a name to this car. Okay, let's give a name to this car. What is this? Volvo. Okay,
Volvo, yeah.
so let's give a name to this car, Volvo. Now, what we have just done together is to brand this car. Okay, so this is a product. We give a name, Volvo. What we have just done is to brand the car. Now, is this enough? Okay, just Volvo itself, it may not have a meaning. Okay, now what is Volvo known for? What does people recognize Volvo with? Okay, most people will say safety, or how it can actually protect my family despite being in a very terrible accident. The car will still be in one shape. Okay, now that is what we call branding.
Ah.
Okay, so branding gives your brand. a recognition or an identity. So it all comes in, together. So example, a product, a car. When you give a car a name, you brand your car. When you give the car or Volvo a meaning to it or identity of safety, what you just did is you are doing branding.
Ah.
Okay, so just like just now what you have asked me about, if I were to bring back this. So what Colgate? This is a product, a toothpaste. This
Yes.
is a brand. Okay,
Correct.
Colgate is a brand. But what branding of Colgate has done is it tells you that it cleans your teeth very, very well. It protects your teeth from cavity.
Hmm.
So that is branding. Okay, now many may think that branding requires a lot of big budget. Branding is only for big companies with big marketing team. Warren, that is not true. Okay,
Okay.
does brand really matters to small business? Actually, the answer is yes. Okay, in fact, it matters even more because when you're in a small business, your customers have a lot more convenient options. Okay, so that's even more important for you, okay, to do branding. And that is why, even today, okay, whatever that's happening, whatever pandemic, does branding still matters? Yes, whether you are big or you are small. Now, there's a small difference between brand and branding, and just as I have explained earlier. So, a brand is a name you give a product. A branding becomes the identity or how you build the brand. That is branding. So is an identity, is a recognition. So is personal branding important? Yes, it is. Okay. And branding does not mean that it is only for product. Even in the service industry, branding is also very important. Okay, because it is who you carry yourself. Let's just take Steve Jobs. Is Steve Jobs, does Steve Jobs do a good branding? Yes, because he is known for being different. He is known for iPhone, okay? And,
Mhm.
for all the innovations that he's done. So personal branding is also very important because what identity you want to build for yourself. How do you want people to perceive you? That is personal branding. So it's very important.
Mm.
Otherwise, you'll just be um, someone that people, you know, may meet one day, but they don't remember you because you don't have a strong personal branding in that sense.
Okay. All right. So I have got some comments coming here. Wow, you have got a lot of people here. So Shi Fong Wong says, "Hi Warren, hi Julia."
Hi, hi.
And then you have got Pat. Hello from Romania, Pat Salvaraj, all the way
Wow.
from Romania. See, your fan base is international, yeah, Julia, yeah. And then you have got okay. So there are a couple of things that's happening here, and I want to ask you this.
Yep.
Uh, John is saying, Warren, in your show, you always bring great speakers. A big thank you. I learned a lot from Julia. Yes, indeed. She's a master. She's a specialist. I told you so. And you have
Thank
got,
you, John.
yeah, and you have got John asking this question. Sorry, Jonathan Gunn. How long does branding takes?
Branding will take okay. Branding take years to build, okay, but again, there is also consistency that is required.
Mhm.
So it definitely, a brand is not done within a year. It's just like Rome is not built in 1 year, okay, or no. So it takes time and it takes consistency, but you need to put the effort behind it.
Okay. And Jonathan is also asking, is it the same as brainwashing? Good question.
um Not exactly, because I tell you, you believe it, okay, and but to believe it, you also tries it.
Mm.
So there's a difference to it, okay. You have to try it, you have to believe it, and it's also what other people says, okay, about the brand, about the product. So there's
Okay.
testimonials, there's a lot of other reasons to it. I
Okay.
won't exactly say that it is brainwashing in that sense.
Yeah, in a very diplomatic manner. Yeah, there's a different word to it. So what are the important areas to consider when it comes to branding, Julia?
Okay, to own a strong brand, okay, there are actually five important elements
Okay,
to
just hold
consider.
on there. Yeah. So, ladies
Yes.
and gentlemen out there, remember, Julia Theo is here with us. She is a branding specialist. Watch us as you are watching us. Please make sure that you share this Facebook, YouTube, and also LinkedIn to the many friends of yours, because she is here now and she is going to give you the 5 important elements to consider when it comes to branding. Very important stuff for you right now, right here. So, Julia, go ahead. The 5 strong, important elements to consider. Go ahead.
Okay. So first, you have to be very clear of your brand position, or what we call, positioning. So you have to be very clear. You need to have a very clear positioning for your product or for your brand. Okay. So what does that mean? It means that, okay, you need to be very sharp on what you do. Okay. Who is your target market? Okay. So who do you want to be buying your product? Who do you serve? Okay, so you need to know your market. So often people say that my product or my brand, I want to sell to everyone. Okay, that is not actually a good target market. Okay, because you can't satisfy everyone. None of us can satisfy everyone. So and your product will not be able to also satisfy, A to Z. So your product or your brand that you want, okay, you need to have a very clear position, identify who you want to satisfy, who you want to delight. In marketing terms, we say we want to delight our consumers. So who do you want to delight? You need to identify that. And also, okay, how your company is unique, okay, against others in doing this. So that is a position that you have to create. And then second, okay, you need to have what we call a brand promise. Now, what is a brand promise? A brand promise means that consistently, every time, you promise to deliver the outcome. Okay, so okay, let's take Volvo. Okay, consistently the brand promise safety. So even in the worst of accident, okay, your car will not become like this. Your car may become like this. Okay, because it is able to protect your family and yourself in these extreme accidents. So that is a brand promise. And a brand promise, a good brand promise, Warren, needs to have emotions to it. Okay. Now, if you are able to evoke strong emotions to a brand, okay, on what your brand promise, then you can actually, command more, or it becomes even stronger. Okay, so example, if we take Rolex, okay, Rolex has very strong emotional connection. Okay, it has a very strong emotional promise. It promises luxury, prestige, and people believe it and they pay for it. Okay, so that is second. The third one is every brand, okay, you need to have a personality, okay, or a identity. So why personality? Because you see, we are selling to people. Okay, we are selling to people. People relates to people better.
Mhm.
Okay, example, a caring person, a trustworthy person, a safe person. So people relates to people better. So that is why if we can give our brand a personality, it's easier for us to, explain or share that experience with the customers. Okay, and giving your brand, or personifying your brand will also give it that human traits. Okay, and people remember that. So, example, okay, Milo. Okay, Milo always portrays a personality of energy, sports, champions. Okay, so that is the personality of Milo. Now, the fourth, okay, important things, okay, to have a good branding is to have a brand story. Okay, so again, humans like to hear story. We all relate better with stories. So you need to create a story for your brand. Okay, especially if, let's say, you are a newcomer, you are a new brand, a story will be easier for someone new who doesn't know you, okay, to understand you, to embrace you, or and the story will also differentiate you from another brand, because no two stories are the same. Okay, each of us have different stories, just like, how I grew up and how you grew up is very different. My story and your story is very different. So we need to have a story. Okay, and last but not least, the fifth one is we need to have brand associations. Okay, now what is brand associations? Brand associations can be is usually a physical or tangible cues, okay, or visually. So example of brand associations will be a logo, okay. So a logo like this will be a brand association, and or it could also be an activity that the brand does, okay. Example, let's take Milo again, because we are all, Malaysian, mostly Malaysian, so we know Milo. What does Milo always show you? That, you remember Milo, you remember energy, you remember sports, you remember champion, because Milo always, be seen as sponsoring sports, consistently sponsoring sports activities. We used to sponsor Charlene Zulkifli. We used to, even today, all our athletes to Olympics are being associated with Milo. So brand association is very important in order for people to remember you. So the five things, okay, if I were to summarize, will be a very clear brand position, okay, who you are, who you want to target. You must deliver your product consistently every time. Okay, if you promise 48 hours, it has to be 48 hours every single time, because that is what you promise. Okay, and that is important, because promise is a trust. The moment you break that, people don't trust you. Then you give your brand a personality, so that, we as humans can recognize better, can relate better, develop a story for it. You know, uh, I come from, let's say, if I come from the best cocoa beans, uh, that uses, the mountains water and so forth. So that is a story of your brand or product that will differentiate you from others. And of course, you need to have cues that people will remember. A lot of brands use colors as cues. Okay, example, red for Coke, or green for Milo, in that sense.
Yeah, so those are some great stuff there, my dear friends, coming from the specialist, yeah, the queen herself. So remember, you need to have a clear positioning, brand promise, define brand personality, create a brand story, and also brand association. Julia, I've got a question
Yes,
here from my WhatsApp. Yeah,
yes.
Zara from Clang. She's asking this question: does a company's vision impacts the brand of that company?
A company's vision will have an impact, okay, but it may not be directly. Okay,
Okay.
now a company is usually a big vision. Okay, okay, I work with Nestle, so let me share an example. Okay, but it has an interlink. So let me try to explain. Nestle, the vision is to be a leading nutritious health and wellness company. Okay, so that is the vision for Nestle. Now, the brands in Nestle will carry that vision, no doubt. So every product that comes out from Nestle or every brand that comes out from Nestle will have to be seen as something that is healthy or nutritious. Okay. However, if you look at Milo itself, okay, how Milo brands itself is through a different execution or through a different way. No doubt it is still a healthy or nutritious beverage, but the branding is through, of course, there is the ingredients, but the main branding is through energy, provides you the nutrition, gives you the energy. It is, connected with champions, is connected with sports. So
Okay.
yes, it drives, but each brand also has its own role to play when it comes to demonstrating or example, carrying the vision or the branding across.
All right. So there you go, Zara. I hope that answers your question, Zara from Klang. I have got some questions from the comment box here. Lim
Yes.
Wei Tim is asking, what is the difference between branding and goodwill, Julia?
Okay. So a branding, like what I mentioned, is an identity or a recognition of a brand. Okay. A goodwill is something that does not necessary has a commercial value to it. Okay, it is not exactly branding, but it is a good gesture or a good thought. So it is two different things actually.
Okay. All right. And then you have got Brian who's asking this question. What is the activities and processes needed to brand an individual? Example, brand myself. And also he's asking, and will I be able to do it within a year? So there are two questions to it from Brian Fong. The
Okay,
first
so
question.
the first question is the activities and processes to brand a product, and to brand yourself. The fundamentals are similar. Okay, the execution of it is probably slightly different. Okay, example, if you remember my five important elements. Even to brand yourself, you need to be clear with what position you want to be. Okay, who are you branding yourself towards? Example, or then you need to have how you carry yourself. Okay, as an image person, how do you carry yourself? And you have to be consistent. Example, okay, if you say that I'm a reliable person, okay, I position myself as a reliable person, that reliability has to be carried throughout by you yourself. You cannot be one day, reliable to Warren and the next day not reliable to me. Then that will destroy the trust or the branding. You will also need, okay, to, maybe tell a story about how reliable you are, what you can do. And of course, because you are your person, so you stand to be your brand association. So you have to carry yourself, you have to be seen, act, and each time be reliable in that sense.
Okay.
So
And will he be able to do it within a year? Sorry.
I would say yes. Okay, you can do it within a year. Again, but it would be a step by step process. Okay, what we could be doing is first identifying how big the market that you want to be known for.
Mhm.
Okay, because and where these target are located, example, and then you constantly go and see and look for this target.
Okay.
Then you will be able to do it within that year. But of course, if you say, I want to, be known to the world within 1 year, then it's a bit a tough call. But
Yeah.
to be known for certain target, I think we can.
All right. I hope that
So it
answers
is
your.
expectation.
Yeah, I hope, Brian, that answers your question. Dato Dr. Lau Bintik is asking, can branding not be truthful and can mislead customers? What ethical processes are in place to prevent this?
Yes, branding, there are some, okay, how do I say, yeah? Okay, branding is a process or an act of giving it a recognition or an identity. Okay, so branding is a skill or a process. Now, there are some brands that mislead. That one is possible because, like I said, if you are not consistent in your brand promise, you will have customers who are unhappy. Now, if you are not clear who you are targeting, okay, you will also have customers who are unhappy because your product or you yourself may not be able to please everybody. So that could be, reasons that why, okay, some brands are seen misleading or some brands are are seen not truthful. So I won't say ethical or not, okay, this is, the actions of a company or a person, okay, but the process is standard because the process does not governs, okay, the actions that you take. The process gives you the tools to how you want to come out with your outcome. So, the process example say that, a brand promise, you have to do it consistently every time. That is what the process is. Now, if you don't do it, you can't fault the process.
Okay. Thanks, Julia. And Dato Dr. Lau, I hope that answers your question. I have got many more questions coming. And Brian says, thank you for the enlightening explanation, Julia. Money in the pocket. Yeah. Very nicely said.
Thank you, Brian.
I've got a couple more questions, but I want to go to the questions that I have for you, Julia.
Okay,
Do
sure.
you think it is necessary to invest on branding? If yes, why? And if no, why? Go ahead, Julia.
Yes, it is very important. Okay, if you have heard what I said, because people buy in brands, and successful brands does do branding because branding creates the recognition. So people don't buy a product. They just don't buy a product. They actually buy into a brand. It's just like a phone. You buy an iPhone because you believe in what the iPhone will deliver for you. Okay, so branding is then very very important, okay, and people are also so happy to pay a premium price for premium brands. So strong branding will even gives you the authority, okay, the power, okay, to position yourself as an expert or a leader in an industry. Okay, I like to give examples, so let me give another example. Let's take a watch. Okay, now what does a watch does? Your watch, my watch, I actually just wear a Garmin watch. A watch typically tells us time, right? And one day
Yeah.
has 24 hours. But why okay, people buy Rolex and not Casio and not Pasar Malam. Why? Does wearing a Rolex, okay, I found this Rolex picture in the edge. So does wearing this makes your time longer? Do you have 25 hours? No, you still have 24 hours. Okay, it doesn't make your time prettier either. Everyone still has 24 hours, like it or not. Okay, but you know, some people are willing and choose to buy a Rolex because of the branding that Rolex has done. And um, so if you look at that example, so if you want people to choose you, okay, or to choose your product, then branding is very necessary. Branding builds a relationship, it builds a reputation, it sets expectations, and it also delivers a promise. So that's why, if you remember the 5 elements, the promise, the relationship is very important. It is the reason why people would, buy a Rolex and not a Pasar Malam watch. Because a Pasar Malam watch, 10 ringgit, I buy This week, next week, I buy another 10 ringgit, lor. I just keep on changing. Okay. But you don't see, people keep weekly changing a Rolex watch in that sense. It's because, Pasar Malam, what they're buying is just a product. They're just buying a watch. Okay. Now, there is this research from this famous consulting company, okay, called McKinsey and Co. Okay, they have done some research, comparing companies that actually invest in branding against companies who don't. Okay, and the results showed that those who actually invest in branding can actually outperform the rest by 20%. So even as I mentioned, even if you are in a service industry, just don't think that branding is product, okay? Even if you are in a service industry, even if you are an individual, okay? So that is why there is, I'm not here to talk about branding or brand image, okay, brand personality, but there is also this topic that people are doing, to do brand personality or image consultant, because branding is so important. Okay, in the service industry, your products are your people. Okay, your products are your people. If you do a good job, okay, in equipping your employees, in equipping them to understand, to reflect and promote your service, okay, you will find it a lot more customer, a lot of people will come to you. Just think about it. Have you have you ever find yourself paying more for a delivery service, okay, just because you are more happy? Because you see, in the market, there are so many delivery services. It is all about price. But some delivery services are more expensive, but you don't mind paying it because you are happy with the service, because you find that this company provides the service that you are, happy with. It's very reliable. 48 hours means 48 hours June. They say I deliver between 2 to 4. Between 2 to 4, they sampai, okay? Every time without miss. And the people, and when you call them, you go to the place, they're very helpful, they are very friendly, you will pay that extra. So that itself is also branding that needs to be done.
All right. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. I've got another question from Danny from Singapore. Julia, is a logo
Yes.
necessary for a business? If yes, do colors matter? And then he put the hash sign. He says multiple colors with a smiley wink. So yeah, do you think logo is necessary for small businesses? And if yes, does color matters? How many colors is good or not good?
Yes, I would say logo matters a lot. Okay, whether again branding, if I were to go back, for me, branding matters whether you are big or small. In fact, for small, sometimes I find it is even more important because you need to stand out. You're new in the market. You've got so many, your customers have so many other options. You need to create that identity. So it's even more important that you have a nice logo and easy logos for people to remember. Now, colors, yes, it plays an important. So if you look at colors, so there are different colors will depict different meaning. Okay, so if you just Google, yellow, usually when you think of yellow, what do you think? Happy, right?
Yes.
So if you want to depict happy, or your company, you want to show happy, usually you try to, go into yellow, orange, around that color. Red, what do you think? Brave, bold.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so that will then, in a way, represents your company or the brand or the branding that you want to do. Now, in terms of colors, usually we are looking at, the best is about 2 to 3. Okay, not too colorful, because you again, all this falls into the element of number 5, which is brand association. You need to continuously and consistently bring your brand, okay, and you need to associate your brand. So your brand needs to be able to relate to customers. So let's look at, okay, the examples that I've shown you. If you look at this brand, Strong brand, how many
Yes.
colors? Two.
2.
Okay. Strong brand,
Yeah.
2. What is Coke's color? 2.
Yeah.
McDonald's, 2. So 2 to 3 will be already a good color. Even some, okay, they will only have one color. Of course, one and white in that sense. So don't be too colorful.
All right, very nice, very nice. We have got Dato Dr. Lau Bintik saying yes. Thank you so much for explaining just now. And John is asking this question, talking about branding with regards to the manufacturing world. What about branding and organization? So you spoke about product and then branding, right? How about an organization?
It is important as well. An organization will, in a way, be driven by two things. Every organization is driven by two things. One is people, okay, people which is could be service or products, where you're in a manufacturing. So, an organization branding is also very important. Okay, a simple explanation of organization branding would be how happy is an employee in the company.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and uh, that branding, that perception is also very important, because that carry weights, whether when you want to do hiring. Okay, you want to be um, you want to go into an organization, like all of us last time, even I myself, before I join a company, I'll go and search, okay, this organization okay or not, you know uh, how how are the employees, what are the company's beliefs, what's the company, does it fit in my belief or not, because you don't want to be in an organization that does not relate to your beliefs or goes against your principle. You don't want to be in an organization that treats the employee bad. So branding in an organization is also very important.
All right. And then this question from Brian again. Does posting in social media constitutes part of self-branding?
Yes, and in today's social media, Brian, there are also two types. So it depends on the individual. Okay, those days I know social media, okay, or Facebook example, used to be very personal. Okay, however, as digitalization starts to consume all of us, personal and I would say public, okay, or how you want to be known as, can become very blurry. Okay, and this is where I think it goes back to the individual, how you position social media, how you treat social media. If you are a private person and you want to keep everything, your private life private, then I would urge you, maybe refrain from showing all this, your private lives in social media. However, today you can't really get away with that. So yes, because social media becomes a marketing tool, it becomes a communication tool, and it is accessible to all of us. So when we see social media, we will associate you as what you post in the social media. So example, okay, if again I go to just now that example, reliable. Okay, so if you tell people that you are a reliable person, you portray yourself outside of social media that you're a reliable person. Okay, and one day in social media there was a post or an action, okay, that showed that you are not reliable, then that already will have hurt your image, because many people who are looking at you will already, hey, I thought Brian is always reliable, what happened? Could two reaction. One is they will all be very concerned, come to, hey Brian, are you okay? Or yeah, this Brian say only, but actually not reliable also. So that could happen.
Okay, okay. So thank you so much for all the questions. I've got this final question to you, nothing to do with branding, but it is more on women empowerment. And I always ask this question to all my guests here in my show. And I'm going to ask you too. It's about women and discrimination. Julia, do you at any point of your life went through it? Could you share?
Um, no, Warren. I think when it comes to this question, I'm very lucky. Okay, I've not experienced discrimination before. I've been working in global multinational companies, and these companies, okay, maybe they are from developed countries, they are more advanced in that sense. So they constantly practice gender equality. And also very recently, if you hear the buzzword, okay, in some of this corporate environment, is diversity and inclusion. Okay, so my career life has been revolved around this. So I have not felt that I have been discriminated as a woman. Okay, and I'm also very blessed to to marry a very understanding husband of mine. Okay, he was also brought up to be equal. Okay, and he's very hands-on. He supports me as a working wife and a mother. He's very hands-on. He even changed our kids diaper, feed our kids night feed when he was young. And even today he helps out with all the household chores. So I've been very lucky in that sense.
Very nice. I'm so glad to hear this. And I ask these questions because there are still some women out there who thinks that discrimination happens in many ways. But there are also women who comes to my shows who says that no, they have not. I think it's about perspective, and you need to be very clear on what's happening in your life and how you look at things in a different manner, and things will change. We've come to the very end of the show, Julia. But before we do that, very quickly, I'm going to look at the comments. John says, thank you so much, Julia, for the elaborate explanation to my question. Cheers. Lim with him says, learned a lot from you. Thank you, Julia. And
You're welcome.
Aaron Kwan says, I like the statement when Julia mentioned on the importance of positioning the image in a right manner in social media and reflecting it right in the real life. Very well said. Julia, I have got this question all the way from Romania. And
Yes.
I have to make sure that you answer these questions.
I'll try my best.
Please. What are the non-negotiable list of activities that we should exercise as part of impactful branding in this new normal phase of life? Julia, if you may.
Okay, Pat. In this normal new phase of life, I think if you talk about the marketing touch points, digital is something that we can't get away anymore. Okay, especially I don't know how is Romania, but in Malaysia we are pretty much homebound still. Even today we are doing an online live talk. Okay, so digitalization or digital social media is something that it is non-negotiable if we want to do branding or build branding in the sense. Now, of course, there are also many other activities, but I would say, I would always say that before you even think of the activities, okay, before you even think of how do I, what mediums or what channels should I go into digital marketing? Should I do a poster? Should I do a, TV commercial or a radio or whatever not? Go back to the fundamentals, okay, of brand or branding, which is, the 5 elements that I've said. You have to be very clear in your position. Okay, you need to be very clear who you are targeting. So the strategies has to be very clear. Then you start to look at the how or the activities. But to answer you, digital is something is non-negotiable today. Okay, and of course the other one would be word of mouth. But even that, you are using the phone. And digital, I mean across broad spectrum, which involves your phone, your laptop, your social media, everything.
Okay,
So
very nice.
I hope I answer your question.
Yes, Pat, yes, I hope that answer is what you are looking for. And Jonathan asked that question on word of mouth. I think you also answered it very well, Julia. Julia, do you have a message to the many ladies and men out there on success. Julia, please.
Okay, so as I've mentioned earlier, my perception of success has evolved, okay, over time. So for me, okay, success is not overnight, okay, it's a journey. And more importantly, is actually how one position or how you position success or define success, okay. Everyone's success may differ, okay, as our goals and expectations are different. So you define what success is to you. So you define what success is to you, not others. Don't let others define what success is for you. You have to define your own goal, you define your own expectations, and you work towards it. Okay, so don't compare, don't feel demotivated by others' success. Instead, learn to be inspired, be grateful, okay, for what we have achieved so far. So, in a nutshell, okay, success to me, or success would be, being grateful and continuously improve from where you are.
Very nicely said. Very nice. And that is success. Yes, success is not about what others are getting. It's about what you are getting. And do not compare. Never compare. Their success is their success. Your success is your success. That's what Julia says. That's what I say. That's what everybody says. So remember, you own your life. Well, what can I say, Julia? Theo, you were simply amazing. Yeah. What you have just shared, I think it will be a huge help to the many out there. Well, at least for me, yeah. So, Julia, thank you so very much. And I would like to wish you all the success in all that you do, Julia. And I'm sure our viewers would like to wish you the same. So, thank you so much once again, Julia.
Thank you, Warren. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you for everyone who came supporting me. I hope you learn a little bit, of the importance of branding. It still matters today, and anytime, if there's any questions, we can, always reach out to me. There's my phone number there. Okay, we can always, have a chat on this matter. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for coming. Thank you everyone for your support. I really appreciate it, and I really enjoyed this tonight, Lauren.
Very nice. Thank you so much once again, Julia. So there you go, viewers. Thank you so much for all the questions, and hope she answered all the questions. And if you still have got any questions, keep it coming. You can have comments or questions in Facebook or LinkedIn and also YouTube. She will be there personally to answer your questions, or else I'll make sure that I get the answers for you, and I will put on the answers, post it to wherever it should be. Now, that is something that you heard Julia giving us an insightful insight, I must say, on branding, and loads of tips too. What is your personal brand? What are you going to do about it next? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I need you to just think about it for a moment. Not today, tomorrow, or anytime. Plan on your personal branding. And if you have doubts, then you get hold of Julia Theo. The details are available at the bottom of the screen. The handphone number is there. The email address is there. Please get in touch with her. You'll be surprised and amazed as to how much you can learn and be successful. Remember, I am more than I think. This is Waran here, signing off. Meet you again, same day, same time next week. Bye. Just hang in there.
Bye.
Just hang in there for a while, yeah, Julia.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.